Here we go. Texas, you've been loud, you've been beautiful, but most importantly, you've been patient. Because there is a rivalry brewing on this stage. These two teams have battled through COD Esports history. And now, an elimination match for the loser, home, where there'll be no comfort. For the winner, glory into a grand final. Let's find out though. Introducing the team that might get booed. Please welcome to the stage, Atlanta FaZe! Slasher, aBeZy, Simp, and Cellium. Atlanta FaZe.
Listen, you can see why they're smiling. They're ready to eat some dinner. These are your major two champs. They just faced defeat, but they're ready to go. That search and destroy streak has been broken, but their mental has not. Time to go up against the green wall. Let's bring them out, Bryce.
All right, well, I think I know what you're waiting for. I think I know what you're ready for. And I'm expecting bleeding eardrums. So once again, please welcome to the stage, OpTic Texas! Ghosty, Shotzzy, Dashy, Huke, OpTic Texas.
One of the craziest runs we have seen, maybe the second one this year, as they drop down elimination round number 1 and push their way to Sunday purely on the passion of the green wall. And now they're looking to make it to the grand final. They have the talent, they have the fundamentals, and they have the team. It's time to get this started, Bryce.
Certainly is, Ali. Thank you very much. Glory isn't given, it is earned on blood on the main stage. Let's find out what happens. Over to our casters, Lando and Study.
Thank you so much, Bryce. Yes, indeedy, Texas. You've been waiting for this moment. Could your boys get at least to this moment? And they absolutely have. But Jay, they've got a very formidable opponent on the other side of the stage. Quite a bit of history between these two, buddy.
Oh yeah, if you think about we ended Major 3 qualifiers, it was this match that OpTic needed to win to make it into winner's bracket at this tournament. And they got it done by winning all 3 respawns. The way that OpTic Texas have been playing ever since they find that victory against London, they have been absolutely lights out. The SMGs are playing well, but the ARs, at least in that Boston series, they took over.
And it's gotta feel great, right? If you are this OpTic Texas team, right? The roster that really spoiled the party at the start of this tournament was Boston Breach, right? You get 3-0'd by them, then you come into that last match, you get your revenge. And historically, this has been a matchup, Jay, that OpTic Texas have loved, right? They have beaten Atlanta FaZe so often lately. They have an 8-1 series record versus this team going back to last year. And speaking of last year, man, we were in this building, we were at this venue when Texas shocked the world and beat Atlanta FaZe to claim their Major 1 championship. It's one of the greatest rivalries that we've seen in Call of Duty history. And now it is time for them to duel again. Here we go, Texas. OpTic versus FaZe. Game 1, Fortress HP.
Everything is underway. Atlanta FaZe wanting on the better side, so they're trying to set up that early trap for Shotzzy. He's trying to make his way through. He's able to stay alive, but all of his teammates now trying to fight out of that spawn. Atlanta FaZe are finding all the kills in the feed. And OpTic, no one needs to panic because they're just waiting for Shotzzy to make his play.
Yeah, absolutely. Shotzzy, patient as ever. He'll be awarded with that kill, and from there, we'll see what the rest of those green arrows can elect to do for FaZe. I mean, you're trying to be aware of the front side. You're trying to make sure that you got P1 locked down, but also not trying to give up those spawns. And I'll say, Jake, this is going very well off the rip here for Texas. They sit in a great spot already for those P2 spawns.
Yeah, that's good work right there from OpTic to find the kills when they need to. A great play from Shotzzy as OpTic are able to find all 4 kills. Now you just want to back up. Make sure you block that spawn and set up properly for this P2 because they're going to be the team off the early rotation.
Oh, man, it just feels like Jay, this Texas team is absolutely firing. aBeZy, 3D, and how about a beatdown as well? The Tiny Terrors foiled here from Shotzzy. a bit of a heat check, but understandably so. Texas reached 40 points, and now it's time for Atlanta to make their attack. To the gates they go. It's the ARs coming out strong, but Texas reply back with 2 of their own.
Yeah, if you're OpTic Texas, though, you just want to fight this to the very end, because right now, Atlanta FaZe, they're going to set up off that rotation. Slash is trying to go on the flank, but he immediately gets cut down. So OpTic Texas with a stellar start to this hard point. A lot of time off of that P1, basically a full 60 over towards P2. But now you have to find a break in one of the money hills in P3.
Yeah, a great opportunity for FaZe to get right back in this game. It's going to be at P3. Slasher hitting some nice long-range shots, and the same thing can be said now for Cellium. Crossfire established there for Atlanta. One player from the front, though, is able to sneak through. Eventually thwarted as Shotzzy back to the respawn screen, and Atlanta finally able to take a moment to breathe, but it's a team nade.
That's a team nade, but at least you are getting those close spawns. If you are Atlanta, one player is going to spawn out, but it's all a lot of pressure from OpTic from the front. And they all just get cut down. Atlanta FaZe, we're ready for that push. And they're rallying up that time. Only 35 seconds left. Simp on the pinch. Simp on the pinch. He finds 3. All 4 dead. Atlanta FaZe hold.
That is 5 in a row now for Chris Lair. Atlanta FaZe, as we said, that hard point can get them right back in this game, and take a look at that score. A few shaky moments that kicked off this hard point. A team nade indeed, but they're able to lock it down. They're able to remain strong. Simp does eventually fall off the spree, but now we head in toward cannons. Can Texas lock it down? And so far, they're doing a great job of trying to keep Atlanta FaZe at bay, really across the map. Bit of a spawn trap set in. How long can Huke remain? Eventually drops, and now here come FaZe.
FaZe all out through bottom maps, trying to find a couple kills to make their way out. That's 3 in the feed. So now the last 2 players from OpTic Texas have to try to make a play happen. Ghosty with a great spot, cuts down the first, but he's stalling time for his teammates to get back into the play. Atlanta FaZe trying to find an opening through that stage shot.
Yep, they've got a few members. Player 5, player 6. That's going to be Slasher and aBeZy making their way toward the flank. And Ghosty, the new addition, lock this thing down. That's going to be 2. Cellium, at least able to cause a bit of pressure. Really, for FaZe, you were just happy to keep Texas off of this time. You did not have that rotation anytime that is not really going to either party is a positive in the end. MC continuing to be a thorn in the side, as that's 4 in a row for him. Regardless of it, OpTic deal with it, and now they've reached 100.
Yeah, this has been a very scrappy hill between both of these squads, but OpTic do a great job just not allowing Atlanta FaZe to get themselves back into this game. But off the rotation, Atlanta gonna be fully set up for the blacksmith. Shotzzy finds himself in towards top maps. He can cause them some problems. Just has to locate where these players are.
I mean, how many times has Shotzzy been in a spot like this? It just totally causes a bit of havoc, causes a bit of chaos. Now it could be Huke's chance. As we said for FaZe, a bit on the back foot, but in that cannon's hard point, they started to wake up, specifically Cellium, who has had an unbelievable performance in hard point. Lately, Jay, the stats are off the charts, as per usual with this guy, but already off to a great beginning. Here in the first set of rotations, 15 and 10, as we've got a 20-point game.
With only 25 seconds left, OpTic are doing a great job of just keeping him all the time. And Ghosty, the rookie, he's able to find 3. The break is in now for OpTic Texas. And now it gets a little scary if you are Atlanta FaZe. Now you have to fight out of that double doors push. You have to take control of maps. They're doing a great job of just trading a couple kills around, but OpTic, with the preferred side, should be able to set up for that P1.
Yep, see what they can do with it. If you are new to Hardpoint, this is your first time watching some good old COD. First of all, welcome, but you're gonna look at the bottom left side of your screen. Both teams are trying to hold on to the left side of the map, as they want the hardpoint that's gonna be coming up in the next 50 seconds most of all. But the battle still will take place at P1. Feels like, Jay, for the last few hardpoint FaZe, while they've had their moments, it's really just been about break out of that backside spawn, then you get some time. You have to break out continually, it feels like, as Texas take down 3 again. Spawn trap in play, it does not get much better than this.
Yeah, Atlanta FaZe just can't chain a couple kills together to break out of this setup. Right now, OpTic Texas holding every single angle that they need to. As Shotzzy does get cut down into maps, with only 20 seconds left, you see Atlanta FaZe, they're not gonna put the pressure on to P1. They're trying to flip those spawns. They're trying to make their way over towards that stage side. These are some big gunfights. If you allow OpTic to take these wins, they can get out of hand.
It's a big moment, it's a big moment, and Bruce there to put The fourth man down. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding. A check-in with OpTic Texas.
Back up. I can take this.
Front cannon, absolute. He ran bottom art. I bottom art. Look the knee.
Yo, one steep on us.
I spawn out. Yo, I can pick up your clothes.
Over there. I got needed.
I have your clothes. Back door.
Back door. DP side.
Left side, back steps. They're spawning stoner gate.
I have our bench. Same out. Go two back door. Last two back. I got one more. Look at your side play. You play ahead. Leave him. You might have to back up. I don't have more time. I have more time. Throw gate back. Sit on the Rose box.
I spawn out.
I have my front, guys. I have
the box.
one
guy's already maps. In maps, you said?
I have my front.
In maps, one shot. Two maps. One shot.
That was absolutely clinical. OpTic Texas, perfect control at the gallows, and Jay, they escape at the perfect time. Now to hold on to Fountain. We've seen it multiple times so far since this roster has come together. They can just take over in hardpoint, and we are seeing that on full display. Texas can win it here, and it very well is about to be a 100-point club. Cellium trying to see a bit of light, but right when he does, Ghosty's there to beam him.
And it's only 10 seconds. Atlanta need to find a break. Well, OpTic are gonna 100-point club to a map number 1. That's 3 dead in the feed. Only player is Slasher. He gets cut down. OpTic take map 1.
Make it 8 hard points in a row. And another 100-point club on top of it. My God, Jay. You and I had one of the first casts ever with this new OpTic Texas team when they faced off against, I think it was LAG.
Yeah.
And from that moment, we saw the potential. We saw the prowess that this roster can have in a mode such as this one. But their ability to just come out and just be in perfect form, whether it's the slang, if it's the map positioning, I mean, it's almost second to none.
Oh yeah, OpTic are playing perfect hardpoint right now. That's the biggest difference when you watch their game probably a couple weeks ago to now is the fundamentals. You even heard in the communication, the small talk was on point. Shotzzy was like, Ghosty, you probably have to back up in this situation. Let's make sure we're watching the cross over towards B1. They were just winning all the rotations that they needed to. When you're finding the easy kills on the map, the scoreline is gonna look like that, but what a statement from OpTic Texas in this map number 1. They decide to not play that hotel, because every time they play Atlanta FaZe on hotel, the game ended 250 to 240 something. But since they've gotten a lot more confident on Fortress HP, they come out, they choose map number 1, and they dominate it. Now have a 1-0 in the series.
For good reason, man. And how about that 3-piece there from Ghosty? Just, I mean, Jay, you've been in the spot, right? Where you were a rookie, a young player, jumping into your first tournament. The stage is bright, the lights are reflecting off of you. How does it kind of feel if you're Dan Ghosty and you're making 3 pieces like that versus FaZe?
Oh, it's gotta feel fantastic, man. You think about this young man and his confidence. You had to start developing it in that London series where you're getting all the way a victory in a game number 5. But when your teammates are starting to chain it together, you're starting to get a lot more comfortable, starting to know everyone's tendencies. That's when this young man is starting to strike. Just playing with a lot of confidence in that map number 1. Now you have to train it going into this map number 2. We did just see Atlanta FaZe's SD record just get broken in that last series. OpTic have to try to take this search and destroy because this is a map that they did lose to Atlanta FaZe in their previous matchup.
Yep, that's exactly right, my friend. OpTic Texas go up 1-0 in such commanding fashion. And we highlight, understandably so, Shotzzy, 25-15, started off this game on a lovely spree of 5-0. But just total dominance across the board. You see the team KDs, you see the outplaying performance that Texas just put up. But like we said, man, you're moving into this search and destroy. We know the stats. We know the run that Atlanta FaZe has been on, but there has to be a little element to this where if you're Texas, it's like, you know, Toronto was just able to beat them on this. Why can't we?
And the reason why Toronto were able to beat him on it is in that first blood. It was 7-9 in favor of Toronto Ultra. They were just doing a great job of shutting down the SMG presence on the side of Atlanta FaZe. You know, if you do that, you take down a tiny terrorist, you are most likely going to find some success. So that has to be the way that OpTic are going to try to take this search and destroy. Play it patient. Don't go for any ego chows. And just play for that first blood, keep the numbers on your side.
Yeah, I know Ali on the desk was touching on it, you know, a little surprised to maybe see LSC Search Destroy come through in this map set. But if you are Atlanta FaZe, right, you got to try your best to block out the noise. It's definitely not going to be perfect, but you got to block it out and prepare for this next Search Destroy. And honestly, man, just reflect on the record. You know what? Are we off of a loss? Yes. However, can we just recognize the performance that we have put on land so far throughout this season, Jay? 17-2 in S&D on land or Atlanta FaZe. I mean, like I said, you're off the loss, but the confidence is still, it has to be there.
Oh yeah, without question, man. This is the bread and butter for Atlanta FaZe. Every team that Slasher is on, they're always one of the best search and destroy teams that we have in the game. And with his teammates around him, man, just have to fix the mistakes that you just had versus Toronto Ultra. Don't be over-aggressive. Don't get a little bit overzealous. Just play your numbers, play your trades. But with all that momentum that OpTic gained in map number 1, can it continue here?
All right, Jay, give me the matchup. We'll take a look at our top 5 search destroy KDs coming into Major 3. And you see, really, 2 members from Atlanta FaZe with Dashy in between. We'll see if his presence can be enough, but we know it, right? aBeZy, absolute menace, a 1.37. But give me the matchup. A player to look out for Texas, a player to look out for FaZe.
Oh yeah,
here in this S&D.
I'm definitely looking at on the side of FaZe, it has to be aBeZy. That's the guy who's leading in S&D when you talk about the KDs. And then the opposite side, Huke. Huke's the guy that can shut down that aggression on the side of aBeZy. But early into this round, it's going to be OpTic on the attack. aBeZy with no dead silence earned. No hesitation already on his flank.
Yeah, and if you're Texas, I mean, you don't expect for someone to go for a flank off the rip. Understandably so. No dead silence, but it doesn't matter. aBeZy, first blood master, already able to make that presence felt. In the meantime, Texas plants bomb, 3v4.
3v4 now. So now if you are OpTic Texas, just try to iron up and play for a kill. You still have to be aware of aBeZy on that flank. It's causing him so many problems. Everyone just checking their back end. Right now, Dashy's in the spot to at least watch over the bomb, but Simp finds one, 4v2.
Big gunfight victory there for Ghosty. As we said, time continues to tick away, and it's all going to be on to him. It's going to have to be a round clutch all by himself. That's going to be 2 time. I was going to say it's going to start to become a factor, but Slasher is able to wipe away the rookie, and from there, the retake is in. It starts with a first blood, and it ends with a defuse. FaZe go up 1-0.
Yeah, aBeZy just set the tone right there. Once he finds that first kill on the flank, even though the bomb does get planted, you see all of OpTic Texas. Everyone was just trying to play for a corner. You don't want to get some bad timing, but eventually when they take care of him, the rest of Atlanta FaZe, they flood on in. They're able to find the final kill onto Ghosty and take round 1.
We talked so much about the history between these teams. The last time they faced off, it was an LSC search and destroy, and you know, we've talked about it, right? The crowd is definitely aware of it. The streak that FaZe has win on, it was an LSC search destroy victory that they had over Texas. So we're talking about prior matchups. If we're talking about history, these 2 teams have it on this very map and mode. Stuns are out, and Dashy, the glint of the scope has definitely been revealed. So with that in mind, FaZe deciding to back on up. Shotzzy still eager for information as player 6 and aBeZy looks to get aggressive again.
aBeZy, he might have found the timing, but Shotzzy, he's just gonna get away with his life. Can't find the kill. aBeZy with another first blood so far in this search and destroy. 3v4 situation as the bomb is now going to get planted at B.
aBeZy's still up here. Dashy did not spot him just toward his side. So with that, he definitely has heard him now. Pistol out. Oh, one more bullet. And it surely would have done the trick. Brings it now into the 2v3. Bomb has been planted. And FaZe, they've got the info.
And right now, Cellium, he's the player all the way across the map, and he's watching that cross. He allows Slasher to go for that late flank as he takes down Ghosty. So now Dashy in the 1v3 with only 20 seconds left. It's not going to be an easy round. He gets sniffed out by Slasher. Now that's 2 rounds in a row from Atlanta FaZe. aBeZy once again with that first blood. You take down Shotzzy. Take all that map presence over towards that B site. You get it down. Eventually, you set up your players to go for a couple flanks to close out the round. Atlanta FaZe, 2-0.
I tell you what, man. I mean, for FaZe, you're talking about trying to rebound in this search destroy. Who are you going to rely on? The guy that we talked about it, right? aBeZy, such an unbelievable search and destroy player. They're relying on him to walk away with those first bloods. So moving forward throughout the remainder of this game, if you're Texas, you've got to be aware of those early situations. You have to be aware of aBeZy. This FaZe, well, a little slow to arrive, but as we said, can it be aBeZy again? 3 for 3.
Another first blood for aBeZy. Now makes it another 3v4 situation. OpTic just going to try to get this bomb down again. Trying to clutch up this time around into 3v4. aBeZy already working his way through courtyard.
He can just kind of hang out here. I mean, you're watching the primary lane. Yep, yes indeed. Shotzzy falls. Huke not able to finish off that kill. That very well could turn the tide of the round. As we said, bomb is planted. Atlanta FaZe, you definitely have to get a move on, but they're finding all the kills that they have to. Once more, it is left up to the Røkkr. Ghosty, 1v4, not able to hold it. Not able to lock it down. aBeZy and Atlanta FaZe, a commanding start to the search destroy.
Yeah, aBeZy's just taking over, man. Another first blood on the round. Once he finds that kill, he wraps all the way through the courtyard side. Takes down the second, and then you see in that 4v2 situation, Atlanta FaZe, they were playing for the information. One player shoots out towards white, then you have Huke towards the courtyard side, and we're just playing for the kills before anyone decides to hop on that bomb. They find it, they successfully get the defuse, and so far, flawless search and destroy from Atlanta, 3-0.
Yes, indeed. OpTic crowd trying to get behind their boys. It has not been a great performance so far from the SMG duo in Shotzzy and Huke. Still yet to get on the board as they will look to try to change that up. Bit of better movement there for Shotzzy, but can it actually equal out to a round? That will be the question as Texas desperately look to try and walk away with the first blood. And it very well could be Huke that's able to lead the charge. Dead silence popped.
Dead silence pop. Does he decide to push his way through these double doors? Atlanta FaZe, they're just playing a mid-map setup, just trying to cut off every single angle, making sure no players are going on that flank, but it's none other than aBeZy.
There's no way, Jay.
Already finds himself in a great position.
There's no way. There is no way! 4 for 4 out of aBeZy. Oh, Dashy goes low. At least evens things up, but for Texas, they have just had to work so hard. And being down in man count, Shotzzy now brings it into the 3 versus 2, 30 seconds on the clock, and now for FaZe, a pick would be huge. Slasher able to deliver as Huke does get found out, but started off as Atlanta FaZe success. Texas eventually turned the tie, but now it's gonna fall onto Shotzzy again. Grabs the timing, now into the 1v1. Slasher has yet to grab the bomb! Ant-Man to the rescue! Texas finally able to grab a round, but how much did it take?
Took Shotzzy to find a 3-piece and clutch up a 1v2. Right there, Atlanta FaZe. Once Shotzzy finds that first kill in towards bottom pool, that's the player with bomb. Slasher was all the way already at that B site. Cellium was sitting towards top money. They just didn't want to put themselves in that situation to fight Shotzzy in a close range engagement. Eventually don't work towards that bomb plan. Shotzzy with a much needed clutch. Finally get one on the board for OpTic.
See if Texas can start to build a little bit of something off of that as we head in now to round number 5. Shotzzy, understandably so, gonna try to be the beacon for information. Meanwhile, you've got Ghosty toward the top side of your minimap. He's able to lay in a few shots. I believe that's towards Cellium. So shots exchanged, and now it's about time to get something going. Bomb in the back of Huke. The biggest thing for him, Jay, is a first pick would be huge, but if he dies, that bomb could be in a very awkward spot. As here comes the brigade.
Oh, that Nay not hitting might give OpTic some false information that no player's gonna be in towards the side. Simp and aBeZy, it's time to strike. They find the first blood onto Huke. Now already in the 3v4 with only 35 seconds left, OpTic have to make a move.
And for me, the biggest thing is that Shotzzy's able to pick up that bomb, and he will be able to get into this B site. Cellium ends up dropping Dashy, and I believe he's got the info that Shotzzy has got to be on this bomb site. It ends up going down, but in a 2v4. Ghosty on one side of the map, and now it is all left up to Shotzzy to try to fend for himself. How long can he hang out? How long can he last? As it's all gonna be up to him, and FaZe overwhelm once more. Add it to the tally of first blood, equaling out to a round victory, 4-1.
Stake right there in that round. OpTic Texas thought that they have all the information that they needed once they throw that nade in towards that site. No hit markers to show for it though. That's another first blood in favor of Atlanta FaZe. They read the play beautifully, because you had both your SMGs sitting in towards that A site. Rotate back over towards B, cut them all down. Another flawless round from Atlanta FaZe, now up 4-1.
So this has just been, I mean, what we expect right out of the best search destroy team in the game. It is definitely up there with one of the best S&D teams of all time. Making it look clinical so far. 4-1, can they make it 5? Can they remain perfect in the first bloods? We'll have to find out. And Jay, that's, I mean, the reason why we see the score the way that it is. You're facing off against one of the best S&D teams in the game, and you get to get a first blood on the board. So now you have one hand behind your back. Now you've got both. Texas down in numbers. Can they rally?
So now in the 3v4, Cellium does find himself in a position up towards field side. So they can decide to wrap this bomb back over towards that B point. But with Huke sitting in this corner, he's the guy. He's gonna make sure nothing fishy happens over towards this A bomb. But time is starting to tick. Atlanta FaZe now have to make the play call.
He definitely hears it. He definitely hears it. But now at 0-6, at times, Huke has been the savior here on LSCLO Search Destroy. But now can it be Ghosty? Levels it into a 2v2, but bomb has gone down on the other side of the map. It could be a 1v1 that's about to take place. Dashy, he just ran past MC. Cellium from the top side, and it's Slasher on the other. Ghosty, he's got to do it by himself. So many spots, so many occasions where he's been last man alive, gets the timing. 15 seconds to go. If you're MC, all you have to do is wait. Pressure is on to Ghosty, puts in some solid shots. But regardless of it, it was going to be an Atlanta FaZe round nonetheless. 5-1.
Atlanta FaZe found another first blood on the back of aBeZy. That's now 5 first bloods in this search and destroy. But I also think if Ghosty, once he finds that second kill onto the player on site, if he kills him before that bomb goes down, probably a completely different round. But the repinch comes in from Cellium, puts himself in a great position, is able to find a final kill on the round. Atlanta FaZe at game point.
Well, there's much more to be said, man. I mean, what? First bloods, it comes down to that. Utility toss to aBeZy eventually does get stopped. Those nades gonna be exchanged. As Texas look to brute force their way into the bomb site. And Simp, well, he's got a few players just around the corner. You can see Slasher trying to make some moves up toward the top side. Cleverly tries to make some presence felt around the doorway. Texas finally have gotten the first blood. Now what can they do with it? Bomb planted, but here comes the flanks.
Here comes the flanks, but at least you have the man advantage this time around. It's now with only 40 seconds left. Simp's trying to find an opening through bottom pool. He lines up perfectly for Ghosty to take him down. So now in the 4v2, all left up to Slasher. He gets cut down. Now it's all on to Cellium. The trade is there. And OpTic Texas take the attacking round, find their very first blood of the map, and it eventually leads to some success. OpTic stay alive.
Stay alive for now. 5 rounds to 2, but like we said, it just feels like we're just regurgitating the same information that we always know when it comes to the search destroy. It is all about the first bloods. Texas finally are able to get their first one of the game, and what do you know? It leads into a round victory. We talk about comebacks. It is not going to be an easy one by any stretch, but you can imagine as well for Huke, if he's able to get on the board, if he gets some momentum flowing, there is a chance they could maybe string a round or 2 together. Quickly into the mattresses we go, and Shotzzy able to add in another first blood, so his second one of the game. That now extends his streak to 3. Oh, he catches a nade. Nice toss coming in from Simp.
A minute left. Now into 3v3. Atlanta FaZe knew that there's a couple players from OpTic who are surrounding that A bomb, but Now with Huke trying to get his first kill off the map. Dead Silence is no longer on his side, but he puts himself in a great position. I don't know if Atlanta are going to know he's here.
Say, if you're Texas as well, just try to stall out as much time as possible. Dashy dropped by the nade. And with that, the flank from Huke. Spot slasher. Oh, one more bullet. One more bullet. Would have brought it into the 2v2, but gets the job done nonetheless. It is Simp who plants down the bomb and now will force Texas to come to them.
Huke gets all the info right there, but he goes for the chow onto Slasher. Slasher's able to cut him down, so now left up to the rookie. Can he keep OpTic Texas alive with the 1v2 clutch? Time is ticking, but he gets the information on at least onto one player.
Slasher, he just got to escape. Slasher just has to try and waste as much time as possible. Ghosty, realizing such, now has to go for a sprint. Knife is out, and understandably so. This is a search and destroy that is gonna go the way of Atlanta FaZe. The knife is out, and it's a knife to the heart to Texas fans as they hope that they could make FaZe sweat again here on El Asilo. But that is the search and destroy roster, Jay, that we expected. That is a team that has now made it 18-2 on land. Impressive work from start to finish.
Without a doubt, my friend. Talk about this search and destroy. The thing that caused Atlanta FaZe to lose this map to Toronto Ultra was that first blood. They lost 7 of them in that series, but eventually now shuts down that SD streak, but they bounce back right off of that. They find 6, which eventually leads to 6-round wins. Just whenever you put yourself in a man disadvantage on a map like El Asilo, there's so many angles that you have to try to pay attention to. Atlanta FaZe did a great job of cutting off all the openings when they had that first blood on their side. And that's basically a flawless search and destroy from Atlanta FaZe to tie the series up at 1.
Yeah, and it's a big one considering that hotel control that we will have up next. Plenty to talk about when it comes down to that map and mode. We'll save it for once we come back from that commercial break. But a big one for FaZe, Jay, and I think confidence-wise, it's going to be huge for that team just to know that those search and destroys are guaranteed. And tell you what, man, I know I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but if we're talking about Game 5s, if we're talking about the future of this series, FaZe have set themselves up nicely.
Yeah, they definitely have, but now they have to win the control. Every time Atlanta FaZe loses a series, they lose the control. So they have to make sure they try to clutch up in this Game 3.
Indeed they do. But folks, we got ourselves a 1-to-1 series. We were curious how it was going to start. And I gotta say, kind of the way that we expected. But when we come back after this break, we are headed to hotel control. Make sure and stay with us.
The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Hi friends, and welcome back to the Texas Major. How about that view there of A&T Stadium? Oh my goodness, love to see that. But folks, we've had a wonderful time so far here at Major 3. We're currently in our elimination final between OpTic Texas and Atlanta FaZe. OpTic crowd is still in it, Jay, but I'll tell you what, man, they're a little dazed, a little frustrated with how that last Search and Destroy win, a 6-2 win there for Atlanta, as it is all in around to who can get to that final and contest for that very lovely trophy. Jay, we get ready to head into hotel control. What do we got, buddy?
Oh man, this is a good one for OpTic Texas, especially up against Atlanta FaZe. The last two times they have played, they have won it. And the reason why they find a lot of success is simply because they're attacking rounds. They were one of the worst teams that we had on hotel when you talk about winning some attacks. But ever since they make that roster change, it's been completely different for this team. Last time they matched up, it was OpTic Texas walking away with a clean 3-0. Can they do it again?
That's exactly right. OpTic Texas 2-0, as you said, versus Atlanta FaZe on control, on hotel control. They've been flawless on attack versus FaZe all throughout this season, as that will be put to the test again. 2 maps in and 2 dominant victories. Can we have a close one, or will it be dominance displayed once more? We fly in for hotel control. OpTic Texas starting things off on the attacking side, and Shotzzy does not worry at all. Watches that stun fling right past his head, and it is all gunning from there. Early time and early control. It's the name of the game over at that A zone.
Yeah, OpTic is trying to get the easy one out the way. Great start to find those initial 2 kills, and now Shotzzy maintaining map control before he does get shut down. Now Atlanta FaZe is trying to set up the pinch. Ghosty with some great snakes is able to take down the first.
Oh,
snap off to the second, and A's already going to be done.
All right, get your snake on then. Over to the B zone we go, and Texas, well, they've been here for a little while also. Ghosty has not only been finding kills, but he's also been a distraction. In the meantime, though, a few quick kills go the way of FaZe, and now they look to try and establish a bit more of that map positioning, Jay, here on hotel control for both sides. It is all about that bedroom control, and currently it is FaZe who's got it.
Yeah, FaZe and the Tiny Terrors just combined for 3, so now OpTic Texas has to try to slow on down, as Atlanta are going to find all the kills in the feed. And now with them being pushed up towards flat, OpTic Texas is going to get those farther spawns all the way at kitchen. Just have to win a couple gunfights, but it's all the slaying in favor of Atlanta FaZe. Another 3, 1:30. OpTic down by 6 lives.
Oh, this is a wonderful flank. That's set up right now for Simp. It's a bit of a crossfire inside of the restaurant. 4 members here for Texas pretty much trapped in, but Shotzzy is there to lead the troops forward. So now into the FaZe spawns they go, and this is where the fights can get interesting. Dashy wins another one on the way out, so now the pressure begins to get applied into Cellium. aBeZy finds 1 in the meantime, but Texas, they have stopped that time.
Yeah, OpTic Texas, they put themselves in a great position. Can Dashy get a couple from middle desk? He finds at least 1. That first segment is already going to be complete. aBeZy trying to do everything he can. He gets cut down. So now you know where Atlanta FaZe are coming from. Second tick is already in.
There's surely no way they do this again. Is history about to repeat itself? Is it going to be another attacking victory? Shotzzy eventually drops. FaZe wiped the board, but my God, a minute on the clock, and Texas has done so much damage. But the same thing can be said when it comes down to the life count. 14-9. These have got to be quick and efficient kills now for OpTic.
Oh, and aBeZy on the flank. aBeZy on the flank at least cuts down the first. He's going to set up to try to take down 2, but it's Ghosty. Ghosty finds 2. Huke just has to try to stay alive, but Slasher takes him down. So now, only 6 lives remaining for OpTic Texas. They cannot get bedroom control as Simp finds 2. Only 5 lives now.
One last push. 35 seconds to go. aBeZy now brings it into 4. Texas pretty much playing a search and destroy when you got an objective on the line. Patience pays off there for Bruce. Time continues to tick, and Huke's found the second, but take a look at player 8 in Cellium. He's prepared himself for a flank. The same thing can be said for Simp, as they are able to win both of those gunfights. And now it is all up to Dashy and Huke, and now the nuke ends up falling. FaZe. They got close, Jay. 2 different times Texas were just on the verge of capturing that zone over at B. But FaZe hold on, and they win their first defense versus Texas this season.
That's a big round right there out of Atlanta FaZe. Just maintaining bedroom control, influencing the spawns to go in your favor. And when they needed to clutch up, find a couple kills to get themselves out of their base, it was Cellium and Simp able to do it time and time again. As Atlanta FaZe take the very first round, but they allowed 5 seconds to go in favor of OpTic. Can they answer the call here?
See what they can do. In the meantime, Simp has found himself on a nice spree. One more, and he will have that cruise missile. Gets the assist for that one, stunned up. And really, for Texas, you've got everybody wiped off the board. In the meantime, Simp, he's also found that kill. So he will have that cruise missile. Eventually drops a team kill in the meantime for FaZe. Means that they don't have as many members inside of Restaurant as they would like, but they get those close spawns, and this zone is about to move quick.
Yeah, all 4 players from Atlanta FaZe on this side of the map. Just gonna try to close out this 8-point. Force OpTic to play a couple exit kills. But Huke, he's actually going for a pinch. He does get cut down though by Slasher. So you relieve that pressure from that angle. Second ticket's about to come in, unless Shotzzy and Dashy have something to say about it. They find 3 kills. Now it's all on Slasher, but at least Atlanta FaZe getting those close spawns.
Yeah, right now Ghosty anchoring those spawns, so it is gonna allow for FaZe to be very, very close inside a kitchen. And with that, Simp, he's found himself filleted. Does he go for the objective? No. Fits to go for the flank, and that does not pan out. As we said, right now for Atlanta, they have not fully captured A by any stretch. Only 1 tick, as a matter of fact. And with losing a few of those gunfights, they're saying, all right, well, let's at least try our efforts now at B. 30 seconds on the clock. Atlanta can make another minute added on if they can grab all of these segments. But they are having to work right now, Jay.
Yeah, OpTic Texas is doing a great job of just keeping them off the time, finding the kills when they need to, as they wipe them off of that B point. Now someone's got to make their way over back towards A. 23 seconds, but Atlanta FaZe are going to get those kitchen spawns. They're able to stop that clock. It's all going to be on Huke, but his teammates are here to help.
Oh, I was going to say aBeZy. A great spot to be in. Slasher wipes away the 3rd. And from there, FaZe, you can see what they do. Those arrows, they put 1 person on the objective, and now it is time to allow for the boys to fly, maybe even to fry. But Dashy on the other side has also earned a cruise missile, eventually does hit the deck, and now for Shotzzy, his life becomes that much more impactful, that much more important. As FaZe are here, but here comes the streak. Bruce is investing it now.
Yeah, we're investing in trying to get the information to our teammates of where the rest of Atlanta FaZe are going to be located. But Shotzzy unfortunately runs out of ammo in that gunfight. Doesn't drop, goes back for the chow, but eventually does get taken down by aBeZy. So right now, Atlanta FaZe, they're just putting a lot of pressure on. You have to try to clutch up, get a couple kills. Ghosty at least finds 1.
Oh, and Ghosty not able to stay up. And now once more, FaZe are on the point. Dashy's at least able to exchange for 1. Shotzzy, long-range shots. He will drop. And now from there, FaZe continue to get picked apart. That's a massive gunfight there for Huke. Aggression being established again as Cellium is able to punch in another segment. So we'll be tied in segments. 30 seconds to go. Can it be the round for Atlanta?
And it's 6-6 in lives remaining. So you basically want to slow down the game. Try to play a little bit of TDM. Now Atlanta FaZe have 1 more good push. Try to close out this attacking round. It's going to be Slasher making his way all the way to the back end. The rest of his teammates trying to fight for that bedroom control. But OpTic, they aren't budging. They are holding strong on their setup.
See if FaZe can make a bit of a dent. Shout out to that free cam shot. You can see every single player from Atlanta as they start to force their way in. But Shotzzy able to save the day, and Ghosty will wipe away the last one. We head into round 3 completely even.
Same exact thing that Atlanta FaZe did on their very first defense. OpTic do exactly that. Maintaining bedroom control, having your SMGs pushed out in certain angles. Shotzzy's a very difficult guy to try to take down. So every single time they needed a saving play, it was Shotzzy finding 2 kills every single time. Already sitting at 18 and 14 with 2,200 damage on the map, leading his squad. All tied up in segments. OpTic Texas have to try to take this attacking round.
And last year, man, we were in this exact same position at Major 1. They faced off in, I think it was the winners finals as well as the grand final. Shotzzy was the guy who erupted right in that game 5. I think it was on Tuscan. Regardless of it, Shotzzy answering again, receives a beatdown, but survives on a fraction of health. We'll see if he can make the play again, goes for the crossover, and eventually falls. Early wave wiped away. There for FaZe. Solid hold on the defense. And now it could be a chance for Ghosty. Meanwhile, I think he's just trying to join alongside of the rest of his team. FaZe clear the bottom side of the map, and that now forces Texas to go into restaurant.
Yeah, you have to make your way over towards the diner. Shotzzy does a great job of taking down Slasher. So that clock is now going to stop. So they're trying to extend that time. Dashy finds a huge kill onto Simp on the flank. Snakes are in. Ghosty trying to take down his player towards mid-connector, but all of OpTic Texas, they are here. They're finding a couple kills, and now with Shotzzy in this position, you have to make sure you are ironed up if you are Atlanta FaZe, because he can cause you some issues.
Yeah, man, 21 and 15. Shotzzy having a ball. FaZe are going to try to go for the last second push at this. And if Shotzzy can get here in time, he very well could lighten the load just enough. Trades are in. Texas still with the favorable fights. Simp give it one last good push, but Dashy wins that 1v1. And from there, Texas take the point. Another minute added on to the time, and here comes the play toward the back lines. A healthy push at that. Simp at least able to change things up a bit more. So map positioning, Texas, they've still got it, and Dashy going on a spree again, now on 4 in a row.
Yeah, but you see all of OpTic, they're trying to locate this player that's sitting in towards bedroom. Slasher, he's the guy that was sitting towards back flat. You cut him down, so now you have bedroom control. All of the Atlanta FaZe players are going to swan out towards back spa. Shotzzy at least finds the first. Shotzzy finds the second. The stack is going to be here. First segment about to be complete.
Take a look at player number 4. He's the one who's lightening the load. He's the one who's making things easier. Simp calls in the streak. Can it do any damage? Yes, it does. It cuts away Ghosty. Huke was trying to make some plays, eventually falls, and now it is all on to Shotzzy. Stays alive. Shotzzy giving it his all. Eventually does get dropped, and now a minute on the clock. 5 segments once again earned. Can Texas make it a full 6 and go up 2-1? We will have to find out as Huke making his way toward the back. It is he and Dashy who could be the ones to make the play.
Oh, Huke, he might have just got great timing because that stun did not connect. Should be able to find this kill onto Cellium. Now you have all the information that you need. The last 2 players from Atlanta FaZe are going to be swanning all the way across the map. You don't have any bedroom control. You want to try to slow down and play TDM. 8 and 7. The lives remaining. OpTic Texas is trying to win this one.
Oh, they are indeed, but Simp, a great nade onto Dashy, so that will clear the B point for a moment. Huke, he's switching between weapons, going back and forth, dive onto the point. Can they cap it? Yes, they will! Texas had to be patient. They had to wait for their window of opportunity. But Huke makes the plays toward the stretch J, and we see he gets the call. Kyler jump from the point with me, goes for the dolphin dive, and they have just enough members to get that zone, to get that bar past the finish line. 2-1, go Texas.
OpTic just did a great job of just not wrapping back towards bedroom. You didn't want to waste any time in that final push. You take control of spot, you spawn them all the way across the map. Eventually you stack that point to secure the round, but now you have to clutch up on another defense. We feel 2-2 split between Atlanta FaZe, but Huke and Shotzzy, the SMG duo, they cut them down. Now Atlanta have to hit that rotation over towards B.
Well, that's a big 1v1. aBeZy's able to take it. And with that, for Texas, trying to figure out which zone are they going to? And okay, doesn't matter. Map control game. Texas wipe away all. And from there, Huke ends up earning that cruise missile. You can tell, Jay, he is a man that feels confident often, and understandably so. The gunny is disgusting. A chow, say less!
Huke is just nuking right now. He finds himself on an ace spree. OpTic currently have all map control. As Atlanta FaZe is just trying to find an opening, trying to find a way out of their spawn. Now he sets up Shotzzy on the pinch. Shotzzy finds 2. Can his SMG do on Huke do anything more? He finds another. Eventually does get cut down, but 20 seconds left. Atlanta has to get on a point.
Oh my God, Ghosty nearly found 2. So we're talking so often about that timer, 17 and change. FaZe able to stop it for the moment. One more break for Texas and this control. It ends. It comes to a finish, but take a look at Huke. Could he be the one to make the play again? He's found himself on the flank, but Slasher able to read him. Longtime teammates and able to find the read, but it's Shotzzy poking away at 2. Cellium able to drop him, and from there, FaZe have numbers. This should be the point. This should be the capture.
And now this is where you make the decision to just chalk that one up, play for the exit kills, because right now it's 20-13 in lives remaining. All you want to do is try to play TDM. Ghosty, he's getting all this information. Great stun to at least find the first. Goes for the down onto the second. Cuts down Cellium. 19-11. 1 minute left. Atlanta has to try to find an opening.
How explosive has Texas been so far throughout this round? Huke goes for the chow, eventually falls, but now it could set up Shotzzy. 36 and 23, making that score line look that much better. But there's still one player in the back lines that is going to be Slasher. Ends up cutting away one. Can he find the second? Yes, he does. Slasher on the 5 spree finds one more. That's a cruise missile and a chance. FaZe with numbers at that B point.
Dashy, he's just waiting for his teammates to try to get into the play before he goes for the chow on towards the point. Taking his sweet time in towards top Ever while his teammates are trying to get all these players in towards the back of the desk. Dashy finds the first. Huke eventually finds the second. Trying to go for the chow onto Slasher's Ghosty. But Slasher does a great job of staying alive. Only 25 seconds left. This is going to be the final push.
And Slasher has to go for the chow, so off of respawn, right? Slasher's going to have to make a call. Do we bring in the cruise missile? We have no map positioning. So here it comes. Can Texas weather the storm? Meanwhile, you have Simp, who's on the flank. This is the push that could break open the game. This is the push that can seal the deal. But Huke comes away, takes one down, but takes his teammates in the process. But it does not matter.
OpTic Texas. We talked about their attacking rounds on this map. They were flawless. Up against Atlanta FaZe, they lose the very first one, but this time around, they take 2 defensive rounds, which were nail-biters all the way to the very end, and clutch up and take the control. Now up 2-1 in this series. And remember, before we went to that commercial break, Lando, I said every time Atlanta FaZe have lost a series this year, it comes by dropping that map number 3. OpTic Texas with the perfect game plan, man. And when you have the SMGs playing like the way that they are, look at the stat line from Shotzzy. 38 and 25, 27 non-traded kills, 4,400 damage. Almost has the same as 2 of his teammates combined. Shotzzy just took over in that control. Puts now OpTic up 2-1 in the series.
Good God, nearly a 40 bomb drops here into swing mode. 27 unanswered kills. He was a headache for Atlanta FaZe to deal with, but I tell you what, man, that was just unbelievable hotel control, really, from both teams. You could feel like the strategies, the wheels were turning for both rosters, the plays that were set up. But Shotzzy off to a very hot start in this game, rode that momentum all the way through. But impressive work across the board. But I'll tell you what, man, I know Huke's stat line doesn't look unbelievable as the game comes to a close, but how impactful was he in those later rounds?
Oh, he went on a 9 streak in that later half of the game, and you all saw it. Shotzzy was the guy that was doing it all, but when Huke stepped up alongside him, that SMG duo was just causing so many problems for Atlanta FaZe. They couldn't make their way out of the spawn, and even when they found a couple kills, it was both of those guys finding 2-piece to equalize that situation, which now sets up OpTic Texas the ability to close it out in a map number 4. We recently had this series, man. The only difference was that map number 1. That instead of Fortress, it was Hotel. Atlanta FaZe, they took the Search and Destroy during the Major 3 qualifiers. OpTic Texas, they take the control. This map number 4, OpTic were able to clutch up and win 250 to 207 to secure their winners bracket at their own major. So it couldn't be any better for OpTic Texas. You beat them on this map, you have to try to do it again to make it to a grand final.
Yeah, you absolutely do. So far, it's been great work for Texas in the respawns. as they're able to walk away with another control. Their control coming into this major was questionable. They were 1-4, now make it 2-4. And if we're talking about, who's ever going to make it to the finals, you got to be solid across all modes. Texas trying to be as complete as possible. And the same thing can be said for Atlanta FaZe. We saw our map set there, Jay. We've got Mercado for Game 4, potentially for Game 5. What can the folks expect on a map like this?
On a map like this, OpTic Texas are the #1 rotation team all throughout this major. They have just been dominating the better side of the positioning every single time. And even if they don't win that rotation, in those final moments, they are finding the correct kills to flip those spawns. So that's one thing you have to make sure, because OpTic Texas in Hardpoint have just been taking over.
Yeah, they absolutely have. I mean, the team KD is at a 1.25. That is absurd. The hold percentages.
That's unreal.
That is, some of the highest that I've seen probably throughout this season, undoubtedly. And then we're talking about how many points they're winning by, nearly by 100 every time. And the last times, right, that we saw both these teams face off was in that game 1, 100-point club. They're onto the Fortress. And then I tell you what, man, it was the SMGs who were frying. You saw a multitude of different players. Dashy's been an unreal beast when it comes down to hardpoint lately, especially in that prior series that they had. But now the pressure gets put onto Atlanta. The pressure is now firmly on the shoulders of FaZe, as they are trying to go back-to-back for the first time since Major 3 and Major 4 back in Cold War. Do they have what it takes? Absolutely. But is this their chance? Is this their opportunity? As we see the records and we fly in, 5 seconds to go. Game 4, what could be the final map of this series.
It's going to be OpTic Texas starting off on the better side of the map. They're going to be able to take control of that P1 nice and early. The Atlanta FaZe, their biggest focus is finding a couple kills, trying to flip these spawns. As trades go back and forth, at least they relieve some of that pressure on towards the P1 hardpoint. But these kills are going to be so big. OpTic is trying to do a good job of maintaining green side. They want to make sure they have that P2.
Both teams actually ended up playing Mercado hardpoint in their prior series. Texas took it, Atlanta did not.
Big kills.
And those are some massive kills off the start of this game. We talk so often about P2, bottom side of the map, where Texas are focusing all of their attention. And Jay, they're also getting every single second at P1, 27 uncontested points.
They are cutting down all the Atlanta FaZe players, trying to go for a route while they're soaking up all this time. This has been a perfect start to this hardpoint for OpTic Texas. Because now they are able to win that rotation over towards Cantinas. A whole lot of pressure from Atlanta FaZe though, coming from headshots. It's going to be on Shotzzy. Can he cut them down?
They can expect this corner. The lead continues to grow. The pressure, as we said for FaZe, starts to get applied. Great bait and switch coming in from the Tiny Tears. But it's Huke over the top side. It's that aggressive. Spot is going to be revealed on the other side. Dashy and Ghosty trying to lock things up, but now it is all on to the Røkkr. Thankfully, Shotzzy has arrived off of the respawn. Weathered, bruised, battered, but staying alive. Ghosty doing everything right now for Texas. Off to a hot start, eventually drops. FaZe make their presence felt and get on the board.
And you will take that if you are OpTic Texas. A good 30 to 35 seconds. It's now going to force them to hit that early rotation. There's only 2 players currently for Atlanta FaZe in this position towards 10. Shotzzy puts himself in a nice little corner. aBeZy does take down Huke though. They're just waiting for Shotzzy. Shotzzy's going to be the playmaker.
They have no idea that Shotzzy's in this perspective. A few shots exchanged, and now Cellium looks to go for the chow. Shotzzy ends up finding him. Can he go for another? Yes, he will! Eventually drops, and now it leads it into a 2v2. Dashy now versus aBeZy for the time, and you've got player 8 trying to make a play on the backside. Cellium able to arrive. FaZe currently with the pinch somewhat established off of the spawns. Dashy falls, and now here come FaZe. Here come FaZe, now with the seconds.
Now it's all on to Cellium, the last player here, one-on-one versus Shotzzy. He's able to win it. So the final 30 seconds should go in favor of Atlanta FaZe. You just have to cut your losses if you are OpTic Texas. Hit that early rotation over towards Barbershop. You do a great job of just trying to set up around that new hill. You pushed out towards green, but unfortunately Huke does drop in that moment. Atlanta FaZe, they can apply the pressure through the back end.
They absolutely can. A massive spot right now for both rosters. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding right now with Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, I'm probably dead. I got fucking baited and pushed. He's on the wall. He's on the top wall. He's on the wall. Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to help you guys. I'm making it. Bottom right. Bance.
I'm short another unit.
Okay. Middle, one's mid pocket.
Short him in.
No, he's behind me, mid pocket. So he's still mid pocket.
I don't see him in pocket.
I see nothing pushing too long. I see nothing pushing too long.
I don't see him in pocket.
I'm gonna get time.
I think it'd be cool, guys. I'm holding
they're all
on.
playing by
Guys, I'm
core.
gonna
Yeah,
I'm recording. On the phone is ready. Then. Nice, make your mid, Chris. Stun by. I can look by. I have mid. I can help you.
Pinching long on me? One short. I got the guy in the pinch.
Nice, I have time.
Responding P2 on me. P2, dead.
Nice. Am I boosted?
Yeah, I'm trying to watch it.
I'm on your P2
I see
side.
nothing. I'm mid. I'm trying to help you guys.
Tunnel Ghosty stuck.
Yeah, they're hitting fucking.
And the communication right there from Atlanta FaZe was basically flawless. And small talk was there. They had all the angles cut off, which eventually leads to a full 60 hold in towards the courtyard. It's not going to force OpTic Texas to cut their losses, set up again around that cantina area, just to want to drop in these initial gunfights. It's only 10 seconds remaining on hold, but these gunfights are so crucial for these spawns.
And you can see FaZe throwing the SMGs forward. These can be the men to make the play. aBeZy firing forward. Great work to cut away Huke. Simp still alive. He's able to drop a double kill, and from there, FaZe with the early time.
Oh, FaZe find all the kills at the right time to find the break on towards Canteen as they are able to take the lead in this hard point. And Simp is not slowing down. Already on a 4-3, just battling everything that he possibly can see. As he takes down the 5th, he's trying to earn himself that cruise whistle. But OpTic, they're just trying to find a way in. Only 35 seconds left. At least they do a great job of flipping those spawns for that P7 hill. But great win from Huke. They can still put on some pressure.
Yeah, they definitely can. 25 seconds to go. A big gunfight to take, and Shotzzy right at your face. aBeZy on the other side. 15 seconds still to fight for, but this is a wonderful hard point from start to finish from FaZe. They get the early break, and now take a look at the lead that they hold. Texas, understandably so, go for the rotation, and now P7 belongs to them. Can they lock it down, or can MC with some wild long-range shots make another opening break?
Shotzzy setting up a perfect play. Spawn all the way out towards 10, but setting up this repaint in towards Barber Alley is exactly what you want to do. The spawn Atlanta FaZe all the way across the map, but Slasher does a great job of taking care of him. With only 40 seconds on this hill, OpTic, they have been holding this one down.
They have indeed. 30 seconds still to go. Ghosty eventually does get dealt with in the back alley. Shotzzy there for the trades. It is chaos going down right now in the parking lot. Shotzzy winning a few fights. Let's step aside now and see how the comms are sounding with Texas.
I have all your P4 side, by the way. I have all P4 sides. They can only go up middle, guys. They go up middle. Alright, they go up middle, by the way.
CT.
Cell CT.
Hitting
ult. Where are you spawning, guys?
I
spawned in. Okay, one got deep banana. You said banana? Yeah, I don't see him. No, he's deep. L and banana. L and banana. I'm just pre-mid, B banana. I don't see him banana, by the way.
Oh, that.
Banana, cell, CT, banana.
He's on my buddy. He's like that. He's good. Last guy.
Yeah, I got time.
Nice.
So you can listen, I have CT and shit. Back to Lamar 8. Yo, he's cross deep left, 2 of them. One got no banana.
Banana, 2 of them. Go ahead.
I'm helping you head.
Left side hedge,
hedge.
Guys, top RV. One's going got heady. Slash, go before.
I don't see him, by the way.
What's before?
They're playing through the soldier.
What's before?
Get the first kill. Yo, one guy's like, nice. One guy's L, I think? L?
I don't know.
Pretty sure L.
Look up.
Yo, someone keep shot Barber.
No, he's on me. Right side head.
Okay, I'm gonna go
One shot. I got him.
They're hitting middle.
Yo, he's nice.
They're sunning. You look at
I got you.
He's on point. You could get a P7 spawn.
I'm watching P7.
I know.
Yeah, I could look at my own hedge now. Shift. I have hedge. Okay, I have short.
A great check in there with OpTic Texas, but we gotta focus on this next hard point. This is the one that could break open the game, that could lead a charge and a comeback. But Huke ends up dropping 2. In the meantime, aBeZy ends up making his presence felt over at the Cantina. Open time right now in a 10-point game.
And it's all on aBeZy. He's still the only player here for Atlanta FaZe. He's trying to stay alive for as long as he can for his teammates to get back into the play. There's a couple OpTic players that are in this situation that are going to take them down. Neither squad is fighting for this time right now, but OpTic, they know how crucial this 30 seconds can be. They're finding the kills. Now when you push this, that's 3 dead in the feed. You keep on going. You want to get over towards the next hill. They're trying to chain these 2 hard points. They close it out now.
Oh, I was going to say, that could be the play. Shotzzy eventually falls, and from there, Atlanta FaZe now have got to lock this one up. The crowd starting to get behind the young gun. Ghosty, 21 and 12. Currently on the 3 spree. Has got both that tack and Vaznev in hand, and now makes it 4 in a row. Could it be the break? Could it be the break? Slasher falls. It's all on to MC. It is all on to Cellium. aBeZy, though, ends up finding the 3rd. It's now all on to Shotzzy. It is now all on to him, trying to stay alive and snake for as long as possible. Does he have the gunfight? The cavalry has arrived. Texas are here. 20 seconds to go.
Atlanta FaZe, they need to find an opening. They're spawning all the way across the map. OpTic are trying to close it out now. Ghosty finds a big kill onto aBeZy. Simp at least finds the trade. All out pressure's still gonna be here, but eventually Atlanta FaZe, they're able to find the break. OpTic is still trying to win it here, though.
And with that, let's find a few segments. I don't know if they got the tick.
Don't get it.
They did not. They did not get the tick. It's about this rotation, and FaZe are here.
FaZe are here. They're going to be able to set up for this barbershop hill. Huke knows that one player is going to spawn out. You take care of him, and now you're setting up that pinch. You have blue control. You have Barber Alley. Look at the spawn for aBeZy. These gunfights are big.
These gunfights are massive. Oh! Simp ends up going low. Shop's the only man alive. All you need is 1 second if you're Texas. But FaZe right now have got one heck of a setup, and they're not losing their gunfights. Dashy, a bit of a slow performance, starts to make his presence felt.
Look at the spawns.
That makes the play. The spawns are close. This is your chance, Texas. This is your chance, and there it is. Itself again. OpTic Texas have taken down the Atlanta FaZe once more here in their building, and now have got a date in the final versus Toronto Ultra. This is what makes COD great, Jay. An unbelievable story and a crazy run that is extended now here for OpTic.
OpTic Texas, man, from losers round 1, has fought in their way all the way back at their own major to make it to the grand finals. What a performance from them, man. Both of the hard points were stellar. They were in control every single time they needed to. Winning your rotation, setting up properly, playing a couple rat corners is what leads to a lot of success. You see the stat line from the rookie, 25 and 17, a minute and 50 in the hill. But I think for me, the MVP, without question, was Shotzzy. 32 and 26, 29 traded kills. Every time OpTic needed something to go their way, it was Shotzzy. Time and time again, finding clutch kill after clutch kill to close out this series in 4. We just had this one, man. We just had this one in the qualifiers. Wasn't the same map number 1, but this was the same series score. OpTic take it in 4. Now make it to that grand finals in a matchup versus that Toronto Ultra squad.
And these fans are going absolutely berserk. Make it now. 9 hard points in a row for OpTic. The streak is extended, and now make it 9 in 1 versus Atlanta FaZe since last season in Vanguard. We got people going crazy, understandably so, Jay. Wild stuff from OpTic, they get it done.
They get it done, man. Now they are at the grand finals of their own major. The crowd is obviously so into this one, man. They have the ability to win their home major 2 years in a row.
Incredible stuff, man. Absolutely wild stuff. This is the reason why we love this game. This is the reason why we love this esport. Grand finals now set up. OpTic versus Ultra. That's going to do it for myself and Jay. Desk, take it away, guys.
Well, there will be no back-to-back championships here from Atlanta FaZe. A good run nonetheless, but top 3 is where they're going to have to settle. OpTic Texas, however, find themselves in grand finals against Toronto Ultra, which means we are guaranteed a new victor in our 3rd major. There has not been a repeat since.
Not only that, we have a rookie whose first LAN, we're gonna break that 2011 record. It's either gonna be Dan Ghosty or Hicksy.
Wow, isn't that a story, Nameless?
Story.
Hey, look, we've been pumping that up too since the very beginning. Our rookies, all our rookies, right? Top 4 performance regardless, and now one is about to win a major.
Yeah, absolutely insane, and the energy in here is just ridiculous in the fashion that OpTic are winning these series. They are smoking some of the top teams that we have, and the turnaround from literally 6-7 days ago. I have never seen such a bigger turnaround. Like, a 100-point club to start the series? Are you kidding me?
It's
the way they close out that Mercado.
Against Atlanta FaZe, like Ali said, Nameless. Against Atlanta FaZe. Like, it's unreal. And you go back to last year. This is where OpTic won their last major. They're looking to do it again. This has been, as far as I'm concerned, a historic run. You get beat down 3-0 to Boston Breach day 1, and now you find yourselves in grand final.
It's pretty much a carbon copy of exactly what Thieves did when they went on that losers run in Boston. They stopped one shot, but this OpTic Texas lineup look unstoppable right now. And I mean, it's the hard points. Look, I think when it came down to that control, that was the real difference maker. Of course, we know FaZe and the Search and Destroys. Yes, okay, they lost Elasilo to Ultra, but you still would always favor them in any Search and Destroy they're in. The fact they lose that control, then this series is fully in OpTic's hands.
You know what? Like, I want to show some love to Shotzzy. 11.4k damage. The guy is a monster. Like, if they win, I have him as MVP. But you know what? In this series, there were some moments where Huke slowed down, right? In that game 4, Dashy slowed down. Who picked him up? It was Ghosty. The man had 2 minutes in the hill, 25+ kills, making moves. We went to that listening. When we first saw this OpTic team, the first couple matches they had, hectic listening.
Yes.
You couldn't hear a damn word that they were saying.
Right.
In that listening, cool as a cucumber, you heard every single call out. They closed it out, man. Unbelievable performance out of OpTic, and you can see here, like, the stats don't even show some of the stuff Shotzzy's doing, bro. I'm telling you, on that last break, he jumps on top of the wall, flies around the right side to win that gunfight, then finds Slasher, then he jumps up on top of the light in the hill. Kid's unreal.
I can't believe it, and honestly, I gotta say I was on the edge of my seat though when it was 249, 200. I was thinking, oh man, is Atlanta FaZe gonna be able to do this? I got a little bit worried for the OpTic boys, yet they pull through and they made it happen. And speaking of making it happen, let's take a look at our scuff play of the game, and we gotta go back to control that round 3. Huke, Ali, he was taking over.
Listen, you look at the scoreline right now, 13-21. This guy goes on an 8 spree during this control at the final moments for the W in the game number 3. I'm not gonna lie, Huke was in the blender maps 3 and 4, but when it mattered, when it came down to the wire, he made the heads-up play that ended up winning them the game, and that is what OpTic Texas needs, especially going up into this grand final against Toronto Ultra.
And we have our scuff team of the major. It's back again at Texas. The CDL experts will select the top 8 players, then you, the fans, will vote for your favorites. The top 4 players with the most votes will become the scuff team of the major. Get your votes in, because, well, we're reaching the end, right? We're about to reach the grand finals. I can't believe it. It's been an absolutely insane weekend. Let's take a look at the bracket, though. We know what grand finals are at the moment. Of course, it's going to be Toronto Ultra going against OpTic Texas, but I want to take a little bit of a jog into the past. Hun, what do you see?
I mean, one thing I want to talk about, just before we get into the team in the major, kind of carry on. LA Guerrillas going out, but the story of Marky B coming in for the squad and getting a map win underneath his belt kind of shows Vegas Legion's problems with control, of course. That's maybe a conversation point, but what an event this has been. And we have one more banging game to go on.
Yeah, I mean, every single event, there's just a crazy storyline. And now we're going to crown a new champion as well. And like Ali said, a rookie is going to win their first major. I mean, this is wild.
Yo, honestly, I'm so happy to be here. This is incredible, you know, but hey, if you want, go check out the merch because the CDL's got it all for you. And I think a lot of teams might have just earned a ton of new fans over the weekend. You can check out the CDL store for all the official CDL merch. They've got all the new hoodies and the full lineup of 2023 jerseys. You can check it out at shop.callofdutyleague.com. And also, if you want to look good in-game and play like the pros, hey, and look like the pros, we got your team packs on lock-in. Like I said, I think, honestly, across the board, so many probably new fans for the teams out there, and I'm sure OpTic just added a few new members to their green wall as well. Grand Finals! It's OpTic Texas against Toronto Ultra. It comes down to this, one best of 7 to decide it all. We're going to find out our winner after the break.